Excuse me. So the speaker of this video, his name is Julian Burnside, and in this video, he wants to talk about fairness, and he says it is a very profound human instinct. He said children understand fairness from a very young age. Then he continues into that saying they actually understand unfairness, and that fairness is what is left over when unfairness is gotten rid of or getting rid of, and that everyone understands that. He then says, although we're very sensitive to unfairness when it affects us, and that we have an astonishing capacity for tolerating unfairness that affects other people. He also says it is easy to overlook the fact that just over 100 years ago, men argued sincerely that women should not be allowed to vote. And this is like example. These next couple things are like examples of like unfairness that he talked about in his speech. So that was one of them. The next one is he says it's easy to overlook the fact that up to about 150 years ago, women in Great Britain were not allowed to own real estate. And that's another example of unfairness that he shared in this speech. He also said that it is easy to overlook the fact that until the early 19th century, people sincerely argued that the main tenets of slave trade was essential for the economic survival of Britain. And so that's his third reason. Third example of unfairness. He said it's quite easy to overlook the appalling things that happened as a result of people's capacity to tolerate unfairness. He then states, as his fourth example, so this is the last one, a ship called in the late 18th century, a ship called the Zorg sets out from the west coast of Africa, headed to Jamaica with a cargo of slaves on board. But it became becalmed and disease broke out, and the water supply looked as that might not be enough for the balance of the voyage, like for everyone on there. So the captain, Captain Collingwood, took 133 living slaves and threw them overboard to make sure they could make the rest of the trip, make the rest of the journey with the supplies they have: water supply, medicine, food. So after this journey, this ended up in court in London. Not as you might think on a charge of mass murder, but on an insurance claim for the value of the 133 slaves that Captain Collingwood threw overboard during their journey. To me, I think this is horrible because the plain amount of unfairness in this example that he shared, because the Captain Collingwood should have been put in jail for his mass murders of the 133 slaves he threw overboard, not getting an insurance claim for the value of lost slaves that he threw overboard. So I just think that the fact that he was there for insurance claim, not being arrested for his crime, was just horrible, and just pretty much just dirty in my opinion. He should be in jail for that. So then he says justice is closely aligned. Oh, sorry. He then stated that I would hope that things like that couldn't happen today, and I really honestly couldn't agree more with that. I hope that we don't throw people off boats so there's more food and water and medicine for others. We just go, and whatever happens, happens, in my opinion. And if it does happen, they should be arrested, not getting insurance claims. He then says justice is something we all value in the same way that we value fairness. Towards the end of the video, he said he is happy that with his last breath, sorry. He is happy that with his last breath, he will be able to say he tried instead of saying, I wish I would have done something. He then says, all of you, he then says, all of you, referencing to the audience, that the audience can do the same. He said, all of you, again to the audience, can have the same comfort of knowing that you can say with your last breath, at least I tried, instead of I wish I would have done something. And I really like this because growing up, whether it was in sports or just everyday life, my coach or my parents would say, especially like my senior year, my high school coach, he would always say, don't stop. Like when the end of the year comes, don't have anything that you want to regret. Make sure that you're satisfied with what you did do. And so, like I said, I really like that point just because I don't want to die not wishing I didn't do something or didn't say something. And then he also said at the end of his video, all you have to do is to be more passionate about justice, to stand up against injustice whenever you see it, and say whatever you do in whatever area you live in, and just to make sure you stand up for justice and never ever give up. And I agree with this point because I think it was just a really great way to wrap up his speech and to end it and leave people on a good note. So that's all I have from the video. I just want to say a couple things with his performance. I think his performance was very good. Probably one of the best videos we watched so far. I do think maybe he could have got the audience more involved by showing maybe some pictures or graphs or something like that, just to see, so people can see with their eyes what he's talking about. He did make a couple jokes and some funny statements that got the audience to laugh, and he said some things to where they were clapping. So, I mean, they were involved, but I just think that maybe the graphs and pictures of stuff would get them even more involved. But other than that, I think he did a very good job, and I really enjoyed the video.